Already, you fucked it up.
Shit, it's like just
Just get it going.
it's
Come
just
on.
like beyond reality.
Hardy Construction.
What's up, everybody? It's the Hardy Construction. You can find us at hardyconstruction.tumblr.com, youtube.com/hardyconstruction, as well as facebook.com/the Hardy Construction with your hosts Alex
The Guyver.
and
Yeah.
what the hell was that? From
That was
Hard.
that was.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
You know what she sounds like? She sounds like the guy from Mortal Kombat. Toasty.
You know, I was such a loser. Because I don't even play the PS3. I don't
You
know
try
how
to
that
click
stuff.
his face, right? And then it takes you to a secret fight with Reptile or something, supposedly.
Really? Click on his face? How the fuck do you
Yeah, the
click
guy
on...
that pops up and goes, Toasty!
I
You're
actually
supposed to,
spent...
like, click his face really quick or something.
Somebody
or hit
made...
the start button at... not click his face. Hit a button at the same exact moment that it comes up, and then it takes you to a secret fight with Reptile. This is
With his
before
face.
Reptile was big.
Somebody
This
cut
is Mortal
together...
Kombat 2, before Reptile existed, I suppose, or whatever. I don't know.
Somebody
I'm
cut
going
to...
from,
Holy
like, 15
god
years
fucking shitballs. Okay, today's film is...
Oh yeah, we didn't even do that. Perfect Blue.
Directed by
It's
Satoshi...
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it's
Mortal
Mortal
Kombat.
Kombat, starring
Who
Robin
is that?
Shu and Kari Hiroyaki Tagawa. Who has IMDb open for Perfect Blue? Let's spit out what the premise is of Perfect Blue.
A retired pop singer turned actress' sense of reality is shaken when she is stalked by an obsessed fan and seemingly a ghost of her past.
This film is
I couldn't-
directed
I
by...
couldn't explain it better.
It's directed by Satoshi Kon. It's a 1997 animated film, and it's a psychological thriller. And it's a film that I saw a long, long time ago. It's considered Japanese anime, which is obviously animation made from Japan. What did you guys think of it initially?
Danny?
I'm gonna tell you right now through a picture what I thought of it.
No.
You put a smiley
It's
face.
not. It's a podcast. God damn it, Danny.
Oh, I'm sorry. So what did I think of it? Well, it started out kind of silly and I didn't care, and then it got really creepy somewhere in the middle, and then it got really creepier at the end. So
Would you guys
overall,
consider-
I'd say I liked it.
Do you guys consider this a psychological thriller or a psychological horror?
They're so close sometimes. It's hard to say.
Okay,
Yeah,
so let's
I think
get...
it-
I'm gonna call it psychological thriller / thriller the music video, which is kind of like a horror.
Right.
Thea?
I think it's closer probably to thriller for me, just because there's not that much. There's not as much horror, I think, in it, except for just like a few little bits of gore here and there.
So let's... I think Sony's gonna sue the shit out of us for having this. This is already a mess, this episode. So anyway, Perfect Blue. The basic storyline is there's this young singer called Mima, and in Japan there's a very weird social class of people that listen to music that's you'd consider. Let's just say if you know how there's young girls that listen to Nicki Minaj or the Britney Spears or whoever else sings around here. In Japan, there's actually adult guys that have no shame and actually just going out and listening to, that style of music, which is
J-pop.
J-pop.
What was with those people in the beginning that were all angry? Is that like typical or something? I don't get that.
I don't know. To me, the way I look at Japan is I look at it as like a different universe. Like something happened. I literally think something happened when
I
they
think
got
it was
bombed.
the nuclear bomb.
I think so too. I think what it is that, and there's a whole idea about when Japan got bombed by the U.S. and we kind of became a patriarchal figure to Japan. That they almost, they took away their military and all that stuff, and they only got to do a Japanese Defense Force, the JDF over there.
No, they build giant robots. They have panties and vending
cat
machines.
laborers and
They
anyway.
make movies about farts and the ABCs of death. What's with these people?
Pillow sex dolls and
Pillow
things.
sex dolls. They're crazy lunatics. Now they have this new thing, the dental thing, where they purposely give themselves bad teeth.
Oh right, yeah, crooked teeth.
What?
And they have bagels in their heads. What the fuck happened to them?
They find
Jesus.
crooked teeth cute. in
No
Japan.
offense. I love them. To
I love
anyone who's
Japanese
listening,
culture.
I'll have sex with you because I have a thing for Asians. It's cool.
I dated one, and my nuts still smell like fried rice. But
It's true.
Apparently-
and I'm Jewish. Well, no, that's not Japanese. That's Chinese food we like. Sorry.
But in Japan they have this whole idea that they still watch animation. They treat it as as a genuine kind of form of entertainment. As like animation here in America, they don't really take it any more seriously than they do Pixar or Disney and that kind of idea. But in Japan, there's this whole section of people that are called otaku, which are basically, in America they have that nowadays because of Japan. These are people that kind of are shut in or weird, or considered weird, that watch a lot of like animations or have extreme fandoms of a certain particular thing. You know how there's like a supernatural fandom kind of thing where people, if you look at Tumblr,
who are extreme.
Yes.
Or Once Upon a Time fandom.
People that read that shit. What kind of people are those types?
Those people are fucked up.
So if you look at Tumblr, you can see what American fandom is in a sense. In Japan, it's probably 20 times that kind of mega craziness. But anyway, Mima is the main character of the film. She's, I guess, in her 1920s or very early age. And she's part of this musical group called Cham, which I thought was Charm, and I think they just like misspelled it for Japan. But
I thought it was Wham from the 80s.
George Michael and the other guy just step out, and he does not kiss her because she has a vagina.
And then I was kind of sad.
So she decides to leave the group Cham on good terms with her two friends by holding the last concert with her friends at a public place, or whatever. And she wants to become an actress. She wants to because her schedule does not fit with the other girls.
She's like who was the girl from like Aaliyah? Aaliyah. She's like used to be
Beyonce?
Like a pop.
She's dead, Danny.
I know, but she was like a musician that was famous, and then she's like, I want to be the queen of the damned.
Yep.
So the way the film starts out, it starts out with them at this, and I've seen video footage. You can go on YouTube and you can see they actually have kind of outside concerts where pop idols perform. And I don't know how the pop idol system works in Japan. All I know is that it's very strange because there's like 40-year-old guys that go to the concerts and they're like watching concerts with 12-year-old girls singing. It's a very huge Lolita fetish that happens in Japan where guys like the purity of younger girls. And actually a lot of the fans, the otaku fans, get angry if they find one of their singers dates or is having some kind of relationship outside of
they
their
should
like
only be for me.
Right, that's how they actually look at it. They have threatened like sarin gas attacks and bomb attacks and acid attacks at them and stuff like that. That's how this film kind of picks that up. Danny, stop sending photos. You're driving me nuts. And
it's harmless fun, folks.
So we are introduced to one character who's seemingly nameless, a guy who's wearing a security guard outfit. You want to explain what he looks like? We find out his name is Mi-Mania later on. But,
well, he looks like he has that disease where your eyes are too far apart, and it's supposedly a result of alcohol poisoning or something as a fetus.
Or thalidomide kind of look, or...
His eyes are so far apart. Actually, there's like 3 people in this movie whose eyes are far apart, but...
Do you ever see his other eye? I guess you do when it gets like
You do, but it's like wide, like a shark. Like
he almost like has hammerhead eyes, like on a shark.
Yeah.
It seems like every character that has those hammerhead eyes are perverse.
Is bad.
Yeah, right, you notice that, but there's only 3 of them that are in there. But anyway, that guy is named, we find out later, is Mi-Mania, and Mi-Mania is actually just a nickname for his website, because secretly he's been writing a blog as Mima, telling people these fake accounts, not fake accounts, but he's actually been stalking her and writing down everything as if she's
like
writing
journals
herself.
As her.
Now, I wasn't sure if he was in league with the other person.
He is.
He's like totally in league with her. Like she's been pretending to be.
She was pretending to be Mima and sending
not even
him
pretending.
emails.
She believes she is her and.
Yeah.
Sending him emails about her day and saying there's an imposter.
So let's travel back a little bit. If you guys notice about this film, there's a lot of things that director Darren Aronofsky took from this film and used them. And he actually bought the rights for this film for Perfect Blue.
He did?
Yes, because he used several sequences that were in this film. He used them in the movie, which is, if you watch it, it's almost basically the same movie, which was Black Swan.
Yeah.
Which is about
don't give anything away about that, because I didn't see that, because I kind of thought it would be
Danny,
like Suspiria ripping off.
If you watch this movie, then you saw Black Swan.
Oh, really?
I watched Black Swan, and then I watched this, and I was like, holy shit, it's like
And this came first.
Very
I'm sure.
similar.
Yeah,
But there's
definitely
a-
came first.
Like it's a different story, obviously, but very similar concept.
He also used
Is Black Swan like Suspiria though? Because I kind of assumed there was like a.
Not really.
It's very Argento though. It's very woman in kind of paranoid state, which this film is. But the
Yeah.
thing is, he also used a direct image from this film when Mima is inside of a bathtub and she's, the over the head shot where she's nude inside the bathtub and she screams underwater. He used that for Requiem for a Dream. Like he bought the rights for that for Perfect Blue just to use that scene in the movie. And then also in
come on! There's such an opening here. I know I talk about double-headed dildos a lot, but we just mentioned.
Well, how did that
Requiem for a
sneak
Dream.
itself into this? What is that? What are you talking about?
I don't want to think about that scene.
Oh, right. Yeah,
All right. We won't talk about it.
That was a
We
great
won't
scene.
talk about it.
Anyway, but also
subject.
he sequences in Perfect Blue that he used in Black Swan are there's a sequence where Mi-Mania has his room filled with photos of Mima and she's speaking to him and all the images and the photos are talking at once. But it also uses that kind of my doppelganger is haunting my life. What did you guys think about the psychological aspects of this film? That it got into the storyline? I'm glad I saw it a second time because I saw it a long time ago, but it really confused me a little bit because it's really playing with reality here.
It does a very good job at making even the viewer not understand what is reality and what's not reality.
Mm-hmm.
And you think that she's going crazy, like it really seems like that, but it's smart. It's very good.
Yeah, I definitely you sort of lose track of like where reality ends and begins and what her acting career is and what isn't.
Yeah.
And I actually was really surprised by the ending. I had no idea, and I was wrong when I was guessing that it was her.
Did
The
like
whole time,
a high tension sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are jumps in the storyline where there's a sequence towards the end where there's a photographer because Mima's trying to break away from her idol appearance and she's doing it for the sake of her career, not for herself, because in reality she's kind of like very itchy about doing all this stuff, and that's where her whole mental break is happening, is that she feels safe in the pop idol zone, but she's trying to further her career and she doesn't have a good sense of self. And there's a sequence where a photographer is taking these nudes of her, and that happens actually a lot in Japan. These actresses will be like, "Here, this is how I look." She gets naked or whatever, and kind of like if you see in American magazines, although they're not as graphic as they are in this film. The photographer has taken photos of her. It seems everybody who's inched her career towards this kind of darker edge gets murdered in the film.
Yep.
And this photographer, they fuck around with the audience because this photographer later in the film gets stabbed to death by physically Mima, and it cuts to Mima waking up with the clothing in her room. But it seems like
How could anyone mistake the one with the other though?
But
I guess they don't actually.
Right, but here's the thing: it's like we're led to believe that she dreamt that she had that experience, or how would she even know how that experience happened? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but she thought that the woman was her, because remember she's chasing it through the streets.
Right, correct. But here's the thing: let's bring in that other character. We end up finding out at the end that her one of her direct manager is doppelganging her. Roomie has been doppelganging her. But what do you think? How do you think that sequence worked out?
Doppelganger.
How do you think that sequence worked out that she was able to know that happened? Is it just because it's a realm of animation that we can play with realities like that she would know that happened? Because she was surprised to know in the news that actually happened. I mean, what did Roomie go in and tell her that happened? Like, or you think that's just the director's kind of suspense of disbelief?
I think, that's the word, suspense of disbelief.
Because we can.
I don't know. I think it could partly be her because it's the same almost as the scene that happens in the movie. Like it's the same weapon and everything that she's acting in, or the show.
That's true.
The way that he dies.
Yeah.
So it could be her just recreating it, and it just happens to be that's.
But then when that happened, I was so confused. Like, is it true what they said about the mental institution? Remember? When she's like, oh, she thinks that...
Well, that was the show.
Yeah, I know, but you can't tell sometimes. Like, it could...
I know.
You could think that that's actually, like, her hallucinating, like, a real explanation in the form of being in a show or something.
Because Mima's drafted into a television series called Double Bind, And
I know at the end, I understand everything, but at the time when I was watching this stuff, I was thinking, oh, maybe that's not real at all.
Oh, that's intentional. Of course.
Yeah.
I almost feel that the film was intentionally fucking with the audience to make us feel unsure of what's happening and what's not happening.
The entire time, yeah.
But it almost creates breaking the fourth wall for us, because there's sequences where the film within the show within the film is going on, and they purposely reconstruct what's being said to kind of be like, oh, she's been doing all these murders this whole time, and then the whole scene will reverse, and she's actually going in character. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think about the aspect of the psychological kind of stuff in this film? Like, for an animated film, did you think this was kind of impressive, or what?
Yeah. Well, Thea, you go first.
It was really cool. I don't know if it's accurate on Wikipedia, but it said it was supposed to be a live-action film at first.
Yeah, and they lost... And it's funny, because in the film itself, there's a mention of an earthquake, and that's how they lost funding for the original version of this film, which is... It's based on a novel, and the novel was radically different. They ended up making a live-action version in 2002, but it was completely different, obviously, storyline, because it went directly with the novel. And the director, Satoshi Kon, who sadly passed away of cancer a couple years ago... He's a fucking amazing director. If you enjoy like adult animation that like treats film as film, you should look up Satoshi Kon, because everything that he did was really amazing. But anyway, I
almost like forgot it was animated at points because it's so good.
Yeah. It's really well done. I mean, it's on the level of like I was trying to find horror films that were animated, but in Japan, it's like it'll be over the top, kind of people breaking their heads, exploding and shit like that. Almost like Story of Ricky kind of stuff, which I don't mind, but it's not. You can't really treat it with the same seriousness that you.
We should review The Blue Girl.
When I was a kid, I tried to buy that movie when I was really young, and my family was there.
They won't let that happen.
And the guy who owned the store, he said, "You alright with your kids getting this?" And she was like, "Why? What's in it?" And he goes, "There's some bad stuff, you know." And she was like, "No," and I was like, "God damn, son of a bitch!"
So close.
Japanese girls get raped by tentacles.
Clinic. Although La Blue Girl could be a real horror.
I think they made a live action out of La Blue Girl too. Anyway.
Really? Is it like an actual porn?
I think so. Yeah. I don't think you can make a regular film out of that.
I think.
Yeah, I think it would actually.
So Thea, what did you think about? What did you think about Mima as a character? Was she realistic to you? You think she was a little weak, or how was her just spiral down? What did you think of that?
I mean, I think she did her job. She wasn't super compelling for most of the movie until she sort of starts to break down a bit. She's an adequate sort of character for us to see it all through and see the breakdown of everything happening.
Do you think she was? Go ahead.
I just was going to say that it's easy to sort of see like that psychological breakdown in any case, but especially the sort of pop star actor kind of thing.
Do you think it was a little too quick, her breakdown, or it was necessary for the film?
Just a weak-minded person?
Well, I think it's just like it's such a huge transition, and especially for someone so young to go through.
Right.
And to go through all of that messed up stuff that she goes through, like being in the rape scene for the show and all that kind of stuff.
Do you think
I think it's kind of appropriate for that.
Do you think this film was kind of an expose on how kind of the culture of film and stuff like that can eat up a star that's young in the business? Or like create
well, of course, I mean, in North America, it's like whether you're a pop star or an actress, there's not a huge difference in how you're going to be sort of exploited.
Alex watches TMZ.
I do. Fuck you.
Do you?
Yeah, so what? What are you going to do about nothing? So anyway...
You're the reason that movies like this have to talk about these subjects.
In 1997, it went back through time. What did you guys think about...
You know what I loved? I learned how to use the internet because of this movie.
That's right. The World Wide Web.
Did you see the Netscape Navigator? That shit took me back when I was a kid. I was like, wow.
It was freaky. 1997, people didn't even know what websites were.
She was like, internet, how does it work?
And he's like, I only got the computer because you said it would be easy.
What do you think the explanation was better? You thinking this or Strangeland, Danny, the way they explain the internet?
This was by far better. Strangeland is just ridiculous.
I don't know what that is.
What is this?
Oh my god,
room?
Thea, you gotta watch it.
Oh, Thea, you have to see Strangeland. Please watch it. You gotta listen. You have to listen to our episode and then watch the film. Please, just that's your homework for
in that order.
Yes. But what do you guys think of the aspect? Like, I mean, for an animated film, do you think?
No, wait, don't listen to our episode before. They'll ruin everything.
Yeah, but I think she doesn't want anything to do with it after she'll watch the movie. But anyway, what do you guys think of Roomie as a character?
Secrete.
And what was like her purpose to you? Like, do you think she was a pretty good foil in the film? Because she wasn't outwardly a villain in the movie until the last half.
I would never have guessed it was her at first.
I know.
Like, they did a really good job. But,
she was really subtle the entire time. Like, it was sort of her reactions to everything seemed reasonable, and I did never really suspect her.
I like the little nuances that they had her yawning basically in every scene, so it made you think that she was up all night doing all these horrible things in some of the sequences.
I didn't catch that, really.
And
I caught her crying at the idea of her being raped and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you see a genuine thing where you see one of, because I guess the management is different in Japan with stars over there, because she had two managers. She has that one guy manager who was basically pushing her in the direction of being an actress, while her regular manager wanted to keep her as this kind of virginal pop star outlet. And that's Roomie, who ends up, we find out, having this kind of twisted fixation on her, wanting to become her because Mima's no longer there, that she's going to become Mima herself.
Because Roomie is a washed-up pop star herself, right?
Is she? Did they do that?
Yeah.
And that's apparently why the whole thing double bind, because there was two dual things going on, two villains in her life, and that ended up...
There was just this awesome scene. It was my favorite scene, where it shows her running in the reflection, but as she's in the form of Mima stopping after Mima
she's
with a knife,
running in
but
her
then
reflection.
It shows her reflection. It's like this fat, ugly woman running.
She's running
fast.
so hard.
It's awesome.
It's funny because
that was so cute.
Because towards the end of the film, we're watching this whole chase sequence where she's running, and it's it's an exhilarating scene for a chase scene, because we're seeing, obviously, Mima has had this mental breakdown that's in full fruition with seeing Roomie as her old pop star visage, right? Is that how you'd say it? Chasing her, but she's floating down, and it's very creepy looking because she's just jumping from spot to spot, floating around. And when you catch her in reflections, you'll see Roomie out of breath, panting, running like a maniac, chasing.
Because I was wondering, like, how is she doing that? And then, it's just like, oh, she's not.
That's just how she's seeing her,
Yeah.
But it's also, everybody's having this sort of shared phenomenon of seeing this pop idol version of Mima. So, I mean, Roomie is seeing herself as this pop version, and Mima's being kind of menaced by her old version.
Listen to this, Justin Bieber. You better not drop out of the industry.
That's just gonna happen. He's gonna be chased
You're
by
gonna get some trouble. I'm gonna dress up.
Oh God!
like
if he's ever in movies, I'll just stop.
It's gonna happen. You don't think he's gonna be in movies?
No, he will. I just don't want it to.
I am positive that.
Yeah, nothing happens when you see him lift up his shirt and shows his 8-pack. Nothing at all.
Ugh.
Nothing brings.
I know I get a huge erection.
He makes me ashamed to be Canadian.
Oh, right. We could blame you guys for that. I forgot. Oh, but we made him famous, I guess, right? We YouTube made him famous. Oh, well. Here's another pile of people shitting on Bieber. So anyway, in the long run, what did you guys think? What are things that worked for you and didn't work for you? Do you think it was a little bit too confusing at times, or what?
Thea.
I think it's so purposely confusing that's sort of like what you expect to get at that point, because it's constantly keeping you on your toes and constantly being just making mind fucking you basically. So I thought that was part of the experience.
Oh, mind fuck! You could imagine the biggest, dicks imaginable.
Of course.
I'm sorry.
He's talking about himself. What did you guys think about the Mi-Mania character? I liked him until I heard his voice.
I like his eyes. You could punch him in between his eyes, and it would be like punching a brick.
He's actually a really cool character design. I think all the character designs, they kind of all look different for the most part. They don't look like traditional Japanese cartoons with the giant eyes or anything like that. But I think they all have.
Terrifying.
They all have.
It made me. I just want to paint something like a little smiley face between his eyes or something.
But what do you think about his character himself, Mi-Mania?
He's a very nice guy. I appreciate what he's doing for Japanese culture.
going in and buying every magazine that had her nude spread in it because he didn't want anybody else to see her in that way. I mean, that was kind of nice, wasn't it?
Because that's the only place that sells magazines.
Yeah, right.
People
he went everywhere.
People actually do that. I actually read a lot. There's a website called eRocket News about Japan because it's like the funniest thing to read all this crazy shit that happens over there. But they're guys that the otaku people, they actually buy almost like 1,500 copies of a musical act CD just to show support, and they actually have meet and greets with the singers.
Can I like make something and they could just buy it for me and I could have money?
They have handshaking things where all these weirdos will go up to the pop actress and give them handshakes, and there's like all these news reports about how some of them will put jizz in their hand and give the girls handshakes.
Yeah, but if everyone keeps doing that, eventually the hands are going to start sticking. I could be able to release the handshake.
What did you guys think as a whole, the film? What did you think about it? Perfect.
What's our rating, are you asking?
Yes.
Okay, who wants to go first? Should it be me? Me, whose name is... What the fuck was my name?
I don't even remember.
I don't remember either.
Your name was Once Upon a Time. Fan fiction.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna hold that against me forever.
I'm so upset. I have amnesia. I can't even remember my own name. But who am I talking to?
Who gives
right
a shit, Danny? I'll give this movie a 9 out of...
Danny, that's it.
I'll give it a... I actually want to give it a 10 out of 10, but I don't know we've ever been that nice to a horror movie. I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Nice.
I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Fuck everybody. A 10 out of 10. Large, kind of Roseanne Barr looking woman chasing you in a pop idol when you see her full ass hanging out of her back and scaring, gets almost hit by a truck.
Classy.
Thea?
I'll give it I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10, only because I was a little bit bored in the beginning and it sort of took a while to pick up. But it's really solid and clearly influenced a lot of other things.
Okay.
So very good.
Danny?
I'm gonna give it also an 8 for pretty much the same exact reasons Thea said. It bored me in the beginning a little, but then it got good. And 8 out of 10. Woman running and skipping beautifully, but then in the mirror you see that she's like this like sweaty fat pig.
Did Danny just like channel out? Did Danny channel out when I gave him my rating? You think that's what happened?
You stole mine. I was gonna say it first.
Right. So he just read your mind and stole it from you first.
So I'm taking it over and making it my own. I worded
so
it.
It's really your fault, Alex.
Do you guys have any So Danny, what's our next film?
You know what I'm gonna give it? I'm gonna give it throwing bottles at somebody at their last performance, and then a stalker stalls your hand, and you're just like, whoa, okay, I'm not even going to fight with this guy because he seems so intense right now.
But then he also got hit by a car, remember?
I don't want to hear about these things. You're bringing it down.
Here's the other thing. Do you
Right.
think Roomie or Mi-Mania killed all those people?
I think Roomie.
She's
the one that was trying to chase
It's a little
him
ambiguous, though, right?
And did you notice that was a fish fillet knife, too? It wasn't just any knife. It was a fish filleting knife.
That's great. Danny, what's the next film?
The Blob.
Ah, Jesus.
Which one?
The remake.
Okay,
The
that's
80s
okay.
one?
Yeah, why? Do you want it to be the original?
No, I love the 80s one. That's like my favorite.
Yeah, I like it, too. I haven't seen it in a few years, so I want to watch it.
So, with that, Danny, what's the final word?
The Blob is going to be good.
The horror deconstruction.